It felt so good to play Digimon Story Time Stranger again. It feels even better to have said that I actually got to play it. But the wonderful thing about these bigger events, where games journalists and YouTubers and stuff get to play, is that we get a ton of exposure to elements of the game. I myself are much more lore and story focused. I love video games, but I'm always really key on story. That's why I love Digimon Survive so much. Whereas you see more like monster taming YouTubers like Gym Leader Ed zero in more on the mechanics of the game, which I'm interested in but aren't my primary motivator. And then you'll even get outlets like IGN and other reporters who maybe aren't as big Digimon fans and therefore see things that none of us really paid attention to. So consider this my post-show video, because there have been some pretty big confirmations that I didn't see and some other additional stuff that maybe I did see but was told not to talk about. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome to another Digimon Story Time Stranger video. Don't worry, until release now I've got plans for non-Time Stranger focused videos. I know people are looking forward to top 10s and custom art videos. That's all happening this month. It's just been a pretty busy Time Stranger week. And you know, we're journeying for Summer Game Fest back in June to LA and then traveling down to London for this most recent hands-on with Digimon Story Time Stranger. It has been invaluable to have my Raycon everyday earbuds. This message is sponsored by Raycon. Remember back to school shopping as a kid? New notebooks, new shoes, new routines? I might not be in school anymore, but I still love that feeling of starting fresh. And you know, I did get to play Time Stranger at the back to school event, so I'm calling it back to cool now. Because Raycon's everyday earbuds classics are my must-haves for getting everything back into a routine and making things a lot smoother and a lot cooler. Raycon's everyday earbuds classic are packed with upgrades. They've got active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity so you can pair with two devices at once, and a super comfortable ergonomic design that stays put no matter what you're doing. I got a pair sent out to my bud Tom in the rose gold with the purple clouds protective case, and it looks so sweet. I hadn't seen earbuds in that shade before, and they feel like an accessory that actually fits me. I have got very particular ears. I struggle with earbuds a lot, and even over the ear cans. I have never struggled with a pair of Raycons. They fit perfectly. There's also a couple of additional features that make them my go-to every day, with up to 32 hours of battery life with the case. And there is also a quick charge function, meaning if you do run out of battery while you're out and about, plug them in and 10 minutes of charge gives you 90 minutes of playtime. Like I say, I use my Raycons all the time on trips, both business and personal. So if this sounds as good to you as it does to me, click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/KarnEX to get 20% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/KarnEX. And thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Alright, so one of the big things that I want to kick off talking about here is a pretty interesting confirmation. I didn't actually get time to play these, but when you go to the in-between theater in Digimon Story Time Stranger and talk to young Mirei, I can't believe I forgot this, you can go to the Digifarm. There's also these options for DLC and non-DLC bonus dungeons. And it seems that footage that Gym Leader Ed got, shoutouts to Gym Leader Ed, shows that at one point during this, we see the adult Mirei, not the young Mirei we've seen in videos and promotional footage so far. Meaning it's quite likely, and she does kind of talk about this in the text, that because of that stated timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly stuff, we're going to see Mirei young, herself that we are familiar with, and maybe we'll even see an older Mirei, who knows. It'd be cool to see other characters from the Digimon pantheon in their young and older forms too. Spoiler warning for the cutscene I discussed on Monday. If you don't want to see a spoiler of the story, although it's been everywhere now, click the timestamp down below on the video or in the description to skip this segment. So yeah, I whiffed it. I misinterpreted the cutscene I was watching because the calm boy was talking and then the arrogant girl talked after. For some reason I thought she was talking to him. However, the context of the cutscene actually, now that I've watched it a good 5 times, is that the calm boy is saying that they need to get involved. The arrogant girl is agreeing and then saying that the sleeping girl needs to act because it's her domain. So the sleepy girl is Homeros waiting to wake up, which I think is interesting. Homeros being depicted as a girl like Yggdrasil. However, this does mean that the calm boy could be any host computer. I mean, obviously it could be like Homeostasis, who isn't quite a host computer, he more like acts as a sub-server for a host computer. However, given his visuals, it really could be that it is Kunlun. Shambhala, yes, is a new digital world, but we've known about a third digital world for a long time, and who knows how long the idea that Shambhala would be the Chinese and Japanese server has been a thing. Anyway, spoiler section over, let's continue. And again, from our boy Ravelmonte, something fun from the Digimon Story Time Stranger Famitsu interview. Depending on the Digimon you are using to ride, you won't be able to pass through certain certain areas, so Togemon can't pass through this, but Kabuterimon can. That's incredibly exciting. I hadn't even noticed this when I was playing. It's gonna be so funny to think that your progress is blocked, but it's just your ride Digimon. But then yes, one that I didn't see, and I did briefly go through all of these silhouettes when I played my game, but you have to bear in mind in the Abyss area section they gave us, we had a lot of Digimon to go through, and I really wish I'd have been able to transfer that footage in time. There just wasn't time at the end of the demonstration for me to do so, and I'm really annoyed about that, but it's just one of those things that happens with scheduling. But yes, it does appear that one of Dinohumon's pre-evolutions is HYOKOMON. I have pored over this, many other people have. It's definitely not HYOKOMON because we can see HYOKOMON in other instances in the game. It seems most likely that of all rookie level Digimon, this is definitely not Marine Angemon, for example, because that's a Mega. This is HYOKOMON. War is over! We did it! It has become such a huge meme on the Karn EX channel since 2020 that I wanted HYOKOMON back, that HYOKOMON deserves its flowers. And again, I know people say that I'm egotistical when I say this, but we know Hara and the team watch the videos. But whether it's me, whether it's all of us, whether it's the Digimon community, I don't care. It feels like the end of season 1 of Karn EX because Tiger Vespamon and the whole Fanbeamon line are in this, or admittedly maybe not the new Liberator Evos, and HYOKOMON seems to be in the game, meaning we're probably gonna get HYOKOMON, Baraimon, Butenmon, and the 2 Chronomon, Holy Mode and Destroy Mode, which of course makes sense. Chronomon has to be in Time Stranger. Thank you, Hara. While I was editing this video, we got confirmation that HYOKOMON is a card in this game, and now that I've streamed the demo, as many of you will have seen on socials and the stream the other day, I managed to get HYOKOMON in game in all his glory. He looks absolutely wonderful, love his signature move. Plus, it's actually possible in the demo to digivolve HYOKOMON into Baraimon too, who looks incredible. I feel like Baraimon's art always made him look a little bit goofy, but this 3D model really sells how cool the design is. I feel so blessed. Again, I don't want to take the credit for this necessarily. I do know that Hara watches the videos, I know the team watches the videos, so if I could help at all in resurrecting our boy, that's fantastic, but I'm just happy he's here. I'm going to do a HYOKOMON only run. Because other outlets got to interview Hara at PAX, I'm very sad. I wish I could have interviewed him again. I'm hopefully going to try and organize another interview with Hara if we can make that happen, either pre or post launch. So if you'd like to see that happen, please let me know in the comments down below, and maybe tag Bandai Namco socials. That would be very helpful. But yes, he has confirmed that a Switch 2 port is being considered, but is not currently in development. Thanks to Ravel Monte for collating this from a Gamersky interview. But Hara said, in regards to have you considered releasing a Switch 2 version of this game? Thank you for your question. Regarding plans for a Switch 2 release, we've received a lot of feedback from players hoping we can launch on Switch. We understand your sentiment and are actively considering this. Currently, we're focusing on the 3 platforms we've already announced, so that would be PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. Our current goal is to successfully launch on these 3 platforms first, as it would be difficult to move on to the next step if we don't do it first. This is roughly our current plan. So yeah, like I said the other day, I do think the Switch 2 thing is a 2026 thing, if it's happening at all. And it does look like Hara is aware of it being a thing. I think it would be silly not to put this game on Switch 2. They could put it on Switch 1, but I don't think it would run very well. Maybe they really optimized it. So yeah, as I talked about in my video on Monday, the Steam Deck is definitely going to play this game, and likely so will the ROG Ally and other portable PC. So if you have one of those, that is currently your best bet for portable Digimon Story Time Stranger. When I'm playing my own personal playthrough, not on like the channel, not my day 1 stream, which I will be doing, that's probably how I'm gonna play, just on my couch playing Time Stranger on the Steam Deck. Of course, I know not everyone has these things, and maybe people do have a Switch or a Switch 2 because of birthdays, Christmases, etc. Switch 2 will definitely come. I feel pretty confident in saying that. Hara knows there's interest. It's one of the things they get asked about the most. Just gotta wait it out. And yes, this week, a public demo released for Digimon Story Time Stranger on Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It is live now. If you have any of those platforms, please do go grab the demo and play it. I will not be giving my thoughts here because this is pre-recorded. I'm uploading this for the sponsor way before the video goes out. But if you want to see my thoughts on the demo, please go check out my stream VOD, which is probably already up when this video comes out. The demo is the beginning of the game and a free explore of Central Town, which is sick, and progress carries over to the final game, so please go play it if you want to get an early taste of Time Stranger. This has put me into an interesting predicament because now the demo is confirmed, the demo is out, but I was never told that the demo was coming out on a specific date. It's fine though. Maybe I knew this and was told not to say anything. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't. Regardless, this is awesome. I'm really excited for so many more of you to be able to play gameplay in the run-up to the game, and I just hope that this is not too easily data mined for really key information. I want us all to experience the majority of this game when it comes out on October 3rd or October 2nd in Japan, and it would be a big shame if they leave in a ton of stuff that can be easily data mined in the game files for the demo. Hara also stated in an interview on Wanu Shi in Chinese, and this is machine translated, so bear with me, that players can experience 5 different evolution systems, and we've improved the usability of these 5 systems, making them easier to trigger. It's hard to say exactly what these 5 fully will be. Obviously, you've got regular Digivolution, DNA Digivolution, and Armor Digivolution, but then what are the other 2? Now, you could count Spirit Evolution here. It does seem that we got confirmation that Agunimon can burn in Greymon in the middle of battle, and probably Aldamon too. There are other instances of in-battle evolution, but it's mostly DNA Digivolution. So if we count Spirit Evolution there, then that means we got 1 more type. It would be insane if Dark Digivolution is a mechanic in this game, but maybe not. It does seem, looking at the footage, hi Future Karn here, that things like Agunimon becoming Burning Greymon in battle are referred to as a mode change, which isn't technically Digimon lore accurate, but that's okay. So maybe instead of Spirit Evolution, it is mode change or slide evolution or whatever you want to call it, and then there's something else that's going to be our 5th. I don't know. Someone else has probably already seen this somewhere else. If you have, let me know in the comments down below. It's interesting that we are getting a lot of these different types of evolution for this game. Something I actually missed when I was playing is that at any point in the game, you can change your character's gender with the type A and type B in the menu, that being Dan and Kanan, and you can change your name too. So if halfway through the game you want to find out what it looks like when you ride Leomon as Dan, you can, and then switch again. Pretty easy. And as Ravelmonte remarked, there's also a confirmation of graphic settings for the PC version, which is pretty standard, but it's nice that we will be able to kind of tailor our experience a little bit depending on our PC setups. As RPG Site shows, we can change our resolution. I have an ultra-wide monitor. I would love if I can play this game in ultra-wide. Frame rate, it seems like as well, it's at 60 and there's no option to go lower. So maybe we can bump this up to like 120, 165. That'd be awesome. And then VSync, FXAA, all these sort of things. I'm going to probably be streaming the Steam version of the game, so I'm going to try and bump this as high quality as I possibly can. Although I think YouTube downscales to like 4K 60 regardless of what you're doing, so you know, mileage may vary. There's also a character density option, which I think is fantastic. I really hope if you go on the very high or even higher, then you can just have an absolutely sprawling population of Digimon in every area. That would be sick. And finally, this is something we've talked about in previous videos, and I talked about a little bit earlier, but yes, you can DNA Digivolve Digimon in battle. If you haven't seen this before, for example, if you have Stingmon and XVmon in your party, in a fight, you can trigger a DNA Digivolution attack, which I think is awesome. Getting to use like a form like Paildramon for Death Parade Blaster or Desperado Blaster, and then reverting back to the 2 DNA Digivolution pairs. Of course, outside of battle, you can manually Digivolve to Paildramon permanently, but you'll lose 1/2 of the pair when you de-Digivolve. Although maybe they'll change that for Time Stranger, but probably not. And finally, something of interesting note is that, as firm Succotash pointed out on Reddit, we have confirmation that there are 451 cards in the game, which matches up perfectly with the already confirmed 451 Digimon in the game. Now, yes, it's theoretically possible that there are Digimon that are getting cards but not on the roster, and vice versa, Digimon on the roster not getting cards, but given that there are exactly 451 of each, that does imply that every Digimon on the roster also gets a card, which is great news for us because that means certain Digimon are very likely to be recruitable in the game, such as Pheromon and Calamaramon that we've seen in other footage, which is awesome. I'm so happy about that. As I suspected would happen, with the demo now out, the full roster seems to have been leaked. Hopefully not the full story of the game, just the roster, but that's one of these things that happens when you get a demo like this. I am not going to be discussing the entire roster in this video or any video until after release because I don't think it's fair to the work that Hara and the team put in. I don't mind if other outlets talk about it. I'm not judging anybody. I just personally don't want to discuss it. But I will talk about some confirms which we've got either through existing media like the HYOKOMON line or Calamaramon and Ranamon. However, I do think it's fair to pull the band-aid at this point on certain Digimon you might expect. So here's the thing. The entire HYOKOMON line is in, right? I have seen HYOKOMON and Baraimon and the silhouette of Butenmon. Chronomon Holy Mode and Destroy Mode are also in. I will say no more on that. I am just so happy that my boy is in. Another confirmation we were getting through the fact that the cards exist, and it seemed that the cards were 1-to-1 with the field guide, 451 cards, 451 Digimon, is, as I said, that Calamaramon confirmation, which likely meant that Ranamon was going to be in the game. And indeed, through the demo, you can actually make Gizamon Digivolve to Ranamon. So that's good confirmation. However, I do have some sad news. And it's a spoiler, so if you want to skip to the end of the video, that's very valid. I will put a timestamp to the end of the video, but I think you're going to want to hear this to temper your expectations if you're a Frontier fan. The rest of the Digimon Frontier spirits are not seemingly in the game. Now, this might change before launch, but I doubt it. However, it seems to just be Ranamon and Kalamaramon, and then all of the fire and light spirits. It also doesn't seem that any of the ancient Digimon are in, besides, I think, Ancient Wisemon, which is a weird choice. However, the good news is that we do have DLC coming that will add Digimon to this roster, so I'm really hopeful that a Frontier Spirit Pack could be one that they are considering. Either way, I really didn't expect the Frontier Spirits to be in this game outside of Agunimon and Lobomon anyway, so getting Ranamon and Kalamaramon is awesome, and I know Ranamon's very popular, so it makes sense, but I would love to see the rest in future. Feels like a bit of an oversight, but I cannot complain because I got HYOKOMON in its entire line with Digimon reference book listing art, full-on field guide descriptions. They're probably all going to get added to the Digimon reference book when this game comes out. It's bittersweet, but it feels pretty sweet for me. That's the thing with these videos, there is just never enough to cover in one video, so I'm so excited to have put another video out, and thank you to everyone across all of socials, all the YouTubers, the journalists, the hobbyists, everyone who got to experience Time Stranger, and everyone else on the internet who's getting to dig through all our footage. It is truly a rising tides lifting all ships situation, and I love that the Digimon community can come together like this, from fans to casuals and many more. I love when we all get opportunities to love this franchise and show our support for it, so it's been fantastic to see just how many YouTubers and other people across the internet got to experience this game alongside me this time. I'm so excited for Digimon. Only like 3 weeks to go until Time Stranger, so thank you to my sovereigns ZDK14 and Chaotic Prophet over on patreon.com/Karn EX. You can join them at any tier to support this channel, get early access to videos on this channel, over on Extra Juicy, our gameplay channel, help support custom art and much more. And you can also join this channel with the channel memberships button down below. Support me for a small amount of money, get early access to the videos, and do much more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.